1080.
Thank you, Sam. It's 7:43, so it's kind of a late edition, but we do have Alden Davis here today, and it's time for another session of star power to make you better, stronger, more successful.
That is absolutely correct. 2015 has taken off, and to a pretty good start for many. But unbeknownst, a sinkhole lies in wait.
What?
Welcome to Saturday Morning Coaching, where the goal is to help you thrive in uncertain times to have a great experience in life. Did you happen to see the news clip this past week of a woman walking along a tiled sidewalk in Korea and subtly dropping through?
Yeah, well, hang on to that for a minute because we have to do sports. 48 on WTIC. Okay. Now where did we leave off? I don't remember. Anyway, Alden Davis is here, and it's the coach at Star Power for this Saturday, the 28th of February, 2015. So, Alden, now we were talking about sinkholes.
Sinkholes, and the woman walking along the tiled sidewalk in Korea, and she suddenly dropped through. Shocked, surprised, she made it out. A sinkhole had been busy at work, eroding everything but the tiles.
And you didn't see it. You couldn't see it.
No, bam, the person crashes through. It's impressive how many sinkhole videos are posted on the web. What makes a sinkhole, you ask? Subterranean erosion. Most of the time, the soil is salt beds and domes, gypsum and limestone, and other carbonate rock. Florida, for instance, is an area with lots of limestone, and it's highly susceptible to sinkholes.
Yep.
Water soaks into the ground, dissolves the salt, hollowing out a hole underneath the surface that now lies in wait for you. Similar to walking on thin ice, the surface collapses. But the shocker is, I assume ground to be solid.
Yeah. Life
has sinkholes, too. Just this week, I was talking to a longtime colleague and friend who stepped into a giant life sinkhole. 3 years into the executive job, all is great. Big projects accomplished, customer relations improved, positive press, good financial performance, stock improvement, CEO accolades. Life is good. Family relocated and kids settled in school. Picturing a solid 20-year run ahead doing good for employees and customers. Monday morning, the CEO walks into his office and says, "Today is your last day. Here's a letter saying you have been relieved without cause. And here's your exit package." Security came in with 2 boxes, and before 10 a.m., it was over.
Sinkhole.
It's a sinkhole. Can you imagine the shock to him and his family? What? Makes no sense. All indications were that things were okay. How is this possible? That's a sinkhole. Unfortunately, this story plays out all too often. Has it happened to you? You think your life is solid, plans in place, doing everything right, and wham! Life has other plans. Last week, Aunt Flo was recounting the story of her late husband, Dale. He's bumping along in life, thinking all's good, working hard, doing right by his family, towing the line, and come home from work one evening to find the entire house emptied out by his ex-wife.
Sinkhole.
Save one table and chair. It's a life sinkhole. Both stories carry the same shock as if the sidewalk gave out from under you. It's the last thing you expect. Everything looked solid, no indications of trouble, but quietly a hole was eroding underfoot, slowly, patiently, growing, until that day when you walked by. So how many weeks in advance did the CEO need to be working on the termination packet? Minimum 2. Had to be drafted, reviewed by the attorneys, and discussed with some board members. It had to be in process while business was going on as usual.
Wow.
Meetings with the CEO, smiling, having lunch. All's good, except for the great deception underway. Sinkholes like this can be devastating. Back in the late 60s and early 70s, now Professor Emeritus Elkin, child psychology at Tufts, coined the phrase personal fable to describe an adolescent's belief in their uniqueness of feelings and in their immortality. A story that's not true. These feelings of immortality are linked to a sense of invincibility, feeling that although others might be vulnerable to tragedies, these things won't happen to me. Invincibility is an illusion. I assume the sidewalk is solid. I assume the road's foundation is there. I assume my job is stable. I assume my relationships are good. I assume my health is strong. I assume my boss likes me. Hey, Ray, what's the song about smiling faces?
I have it ready to go in a minute, but go ahead.
You've seen people ice climbing and traversing glaciers, they are totally prepared for sinkholes. Picks, spikes, hooks, ropes tied together. Sinkholes are more of an irritation and challenge to overcome than a game-ending event. So, do you hate the idea of unplanned, unforeseen, random, unpleasant surprises in your life? Coach has the sinkhole solution. As Steven Seagal said in the 1990 movie Hard to Kill, we're outgunned and undermanned. But you know something? We're going to win. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Superior attitude, superior state of mind. The best way to prepare is to accept the fact that sinkholes exist. If you enjoy reading your invincibility fable, now is the time to close the book and put it on the shelf. Stop believing your own myths. Life's sinkholes are not the end of the story. They are merely a change in plans. Superior attitude, superior state of mind. Today, make procrastination, acquiescence, abdication, inaction, passive dwelling, indulging, rationalizing, pining, and wallowing taboo words. As one of the investors on Shark Tank said, the difference between a great entrepreneur and an average one is the length of time they spend dwelling on setbacks. Great ones think about it for a nanosecond and move on. If you fell into a sinkhole today, are you going to spend time sitting and thinking how wronged you are, how inconvenienced you are, how unfair it is? Or are you going to start climbing out and screaming for help? You have one goal, and that's to get out. The grief process goes like this: shock, denial, anger, depression, bargaining, sadness, and acceptance. When your sinkhole appears, and it will, the sinkhole solution is to give yourself 1 hour to go from shock to acceptance and then get on with life. If you really feel the need for self-indulgence, take a full 90 minutes. But that's it. A movie to see the sinkhole solution in action is the 1980 South African comedy, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Andrew Stein is a biologist studying the local animals, and he experiences a steady stream of life sinkholes, to which he responds, ay, 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 and gets into problem solving. Ay, ay, ay. I'm Coach Davis.
Well, there you go. By the way, that's interesting in that I had came across a thing the other day, and maybe when you were in school, maybe in an English lit class or something like that, they're basically 6, maybe 7 plots that exist in literature, and everything's a permutation, variation thereupon. And so this guy at University of Nebraska, I think it was. Anyway, he did computer analysis of the arcs, as they say, in various books. And the two most common, they're two overarching. One is a guy crawling out of a hole, so to speak, and a guy on top who may fall or
into a hole.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole, and then there are like 3 variants in each of those genres. So I mean, that's basically it. I mean, we're kind of there with the guy who comes in with his office, and everything's going great, and all of a sudden there you are. You're falling down the crevasse. Yeah. There you are. You're done
in the sinkhole.
And that would be you crawling out.
And now we have the new story.
That's right. You got to write a new script for yourself. That's what you have to do.
That's exactly it.
Well, that was interesting. That was a good one. We can do another one next
time. If you go out
to
myvaluetree.com,
yes,
today's video clip is Steven Seagal saying superior attitude, superior state of mind, and the other video is sinkhole. Person falling in the sinkhole.
I saw, really? You've got that
there?
Yeah. MyValueTree.com. That was the lady. Right. Is that the lady?
Right.
Walking along?
It's one in Seoul, Korea. They're coming out of a building, just a normal looking sidewalk, straight through.
So as it is with ice climbing, you have to have your ropes and all that stuff.